under Dag Heward Mills, and I'm actually going live at the same damn time on Insta and on YouTube. We gonna kill two birds with one stone over here. We're gonna make full proof of the ministry work and do a live at the same damn time. All right, so I'm Leah Lauder. If you guys have been following my story online, you'll know that I've been talking a lot about my different experiences of being in a mega church cult and navigating my life with a chronic illness that I have as a result of being in the cult for 18 years and experiencing a lot of narcissistic abuse in the cult. I've developed a chronic illness, hyperadrenalism, Addison's, and kidney disease. So hey YouTube, I'm on Instagram at the same time as YouTube, so I'm going to be seeing your comments at the same damn time, so please comment on there and I'll answer your questions. So I live with a chronic illness. I know I don't look like it, I know it's hard to believe but I actually do, and I was hospitalized for 3 days because I went into crisis, and now I'm just kind of like in recovery mode, getting better. So I thought I'd come on and share what's been on my heart this week. I want to give a little background into like who I am and how I got recruited into the church cult, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences. Hey Queen Rachel. So basically it all started, I'm going to start off from like 15. My nan had unalived, just unalived in her sleep, and then my best friend had unalived on a ped accident. I think I was only 17 at the time, and then my boyfriend unalived in police custody. So in the space of like 3 years, I had a lot of bereavement that had happened, a lot of trauma, and I was really, really vulnerable. Hey girl, I was really, really vulnerable. The last kind of episode where my boyfriend was unalived in police custody made me extremely vulnerable and susceptible to the group. So I was walking down the street one day, and they had like a breakfast club. You know, they do these events like, but this is back in the day, remember, this is in the 2000s. So they would probably call them, I don't know, like they have brunch meetings or whatever, you know, to recruit the people them. So anyway, I was walking past one day, and they invited me up to this brunch that they were doing up, this breakfast meeting. They used to call them breakfast meetings. And they prepare everything. They have all of the food, the croissants, everything's, because one thing that them gal them can do in the mega church cult is whip a egg, chow, and do a nice spread. Because remember, they're taught to internalize misogyny in their chow. Do you know what I'm saying? So the women, their whole life is about cooking and cleaning and serving the man. And what you went through. Oh, you went through it as well, girl. I'm so sorry. That's why I had a feeling to come on YouTube and Instagram at the same, because I'm on Instagram as well. But I had a feeling to come on YouTube. I know I've got a lot of survivors on YouTube. So big up all the YouTube survivors from all around the world. Want to big you up. Thanks for your support. You was in the UD. OMG, girl. Give us the tea. You lot, I've got a survivor on YouTube that's saying she was in UD. All my UD survivors, them. We're getting justice. Do you understand me? We're getting justice. If it's the last thing I do here on earth, child. From South Africa. Babe, do you know what I want to say? It's really, really bad in South Africa, because you see these church cults here, they're all around the world. My cult leader, Dag Heward Mills, he's got 3,500 churches worldwide. And I could just make it about the UK, but guess what? I'm not. Because I got brothers and sisters hurting all around the globe. I got brothers and sisters in South Africa, Botswana, Europe, the Caribbean, everywhere, all over the world that have been suffering, that have been discarded by Dag Heward Mills and that evil organization. I'm going to get justice for all of us. Don't you worry about that if that's the last thing I do, girl. Because when it's out there, it's even worse. Because there's not as many rights and systems out there. And that's why my heart really is for you lot. So I'm going to keep on talking, girl. And I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. So anyway, they invited me to this breakfast meeting now. I'm in the breakfast meeting. You lot, when I tell you, they love bombed the hell out of me, y'all. Like, it was like, oh my God. It just felt like they make you feel like a celebrity. They make you feel like you've never felt before. And I just want to say, for people who have like, you know, like family issues, or they've been in care, you know, like they haven't had their parents around, like this, that, and the third, they are the most vulnerable to being recruited into these church cults, because they do prey on young people. That's what they do up. So ever since the breakfast meeting now, it's like I'm just hooked, Because remember, my boyfriend had just unalived. I was trying to get away from, you know, like the street life. Because I had in my mind, I'm not involved with the street life anymore. I didn't want a boyfriend. I just wanted to serve the Lord. I just wanted to give my life to God. And I made a vow. I made a vow to God that I was going to give my life to the young people in gangs, the young people on the streets. I said, I'm going to give them my life, and I'm going to dedicate my life to saving these young guys and getting justice for my boyfriend through outreaching and evangelizing to the people in gangs. So I was out there doing ministry work, just on the road. Sorry guys, I get so disassociated when I talk about my boyfriend. He unalived. It was my way of bringing him justice to his name. I felt like if I could go out there and I could save all these young guys, it would be like making up for it. I would be able to make up for just everything, just him unaliving. And I felt like his memory would live on in the young people that I was so-called saving. And so I was really convicted. And I just want to say, that's why not everyone you get in these church cult spaces, it's not like a spiritual encounter. Like a lot of the times when I was there and I was just crying, I was just thinking about my boyfriend that had unalived. Like when I'd hear the worship music and I go and I find so much peace just hearing the music. It really healed my soul. And it was a time for me to just go into the church and just escape everything. I was running from self. I was running from self and forming a codependent and a trauma bond on the cult. I'm going to bring this forward, guys, so I can... You're speaking out, honors his memory. Oh, John, you're such a king. You're such a king. Choosing partners for people and forcing people to lose their partners based on he or she is the favorite. All right. So this queen on YouTube wants me to expose the arranged marriages. So let's talk about it. Hey, Charity, let's talk about it. So in the cult, they have arranged marriages. They have what we call shepherdoral linking, and it's forceful. There's a YouTube survivor that's very vocal, so I'm going to be her voice right now online. She's saying that they force people to leave their partners in the UD. All right. So with this shepherdoral linking, and she's speaking about favorites, there's a lot to unpack here. You know, I'm going to have to be ghetto and blow my nose, child, because I am getting over this neurovirus that we got here in the UK. All right, let's get into it. So in the UD under Dag Heward Mills, they have a culture of shepherdoral linking. And basically, it's the whole ideology of the pastors setting you up as shepherds to marry each other. Yeah. So this kind of feeds and ties into this kind of like surveillance, this monitoring culture that they've got in there, where they want to know everything about you. They want to know how many people you've slept with. They want to know your whole history. They want to know your whole background. They want to know absolutely everything. And this is because they put people into categories. I've been with the pastors in the office when they've been like, oh no, he can't get with Sam can't get with Jessica because Jessica's got a past of sleeping with a lot of men, so Sam won't be able to satisfy or fulfill her needs. She needs somebody who's a bit more experienced in the bedroom. Because what you need to understand is choosing to spend the rest of your life with someone is a life-altering, it's the biggest decision that you're ever going to make in your life. It's the biggest decision that you're ever going to make in your life. And they start to play God and take over and dictate to people who they can marry and who they can't marry. Now, this shepherdoral system, I would say it's a bit of a reward system. And Queen, let me know in the comments if I'm doing justice for you, yeah? It's almost like a reward system, because in there, it's kind of like, it's about positive reinforcement. So if you're a good daughter, spiritual daughter of the house, you're attending all the meetings, you're basically slaving yourself out. You've got to slave yourself out for the cult leader, child. You've got to do absolutely everything and anything that he says. You've got to do it when he said, and again, remember I created the the trad Christian model. And I created that model to show that these church cults, they base everything off external appearances and external things that you do. So they are teaching you to have a codependent trauma bond relationship with your pastors and the church cult environment. They are not teaching you to have a personal relationship with God. They judge everybody off the back of external things: how you dress, your purity and your modesty, who you marry, the meetings that you go to, paying your tithe, doing up offerings, marrying only inside the church, having friends only inside the church. They're all external things, because we can't judge and measure spirituality. It's an invisible force and entity. It's man that judges the outward appearance, but it's God that sees and judges the heart. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they create these external things so that it's their measuring yardstick. And then they start to beat people down, and then they create their rewards and punishment systems based off those external things. Yeah, because they don't know. You might have missed a meeting because you were praying to God. You might have decided you want to go somewhere and pray, but they don't listen to that, because they want to control absolutely everything, including the person that you marry. And the reason why they do this, guys, is because they want to build the church. In the mega church, it talks about like marriages and how it establishes the church cult. So in a church, you'll be free to marry who you want to be, but in a church cult, it won't be like that. Saw you on Afro Atheist, bigging you up for holding your own. Oh, thanks, Chunky. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, King. And just to let you know, there's a video that a YouTuber has put up. She's called Afro Atheist, and she did a live yesterday on Dag Heward Mills, and I was on the live, and some survivors. So you should go and check it out, Afro Atheist. I'll put I'll tag her in the comments, yeah, on YouTube. So back to this Shepherd Dora Lincoln. So in essence, what this is about is grooming people. It's grooming women to believe that if you're a good spiritual daughter of the house and you do everything that the pastor says, that you will be rewarded with a husband, a good husband. And I just want to let you know that this marriage thing in the cult, yeah, it's like a status reward program. And it's all about status. So they will give you a husband based off how they see you. So if they rate you in the cult, you'll be given to a pastor or a high-ranking pastor's son, or, you know what I mean? But if they don't rate you, they'll just try and fob you off with anyone or let you marry anyone. Do you understand? You have to be like in the fold. You have to be a spiritual daughter of the house, and you have to be a favorite. Like the favorites, they get what they want. So like this girl saying over here, yeah, they do it in a lot of other churches, because it's just you know what it is? It's the malignant narcissist. It's patriarchy and misogyny. That's what's overarching it. So they don't have to be they're all different church cults, but they all do the same thing. They've all got the same blueprint. They're all evil and wicked and bad. You get me? That's what they do in there. They love to break down and abuse people, Jar. That's all they know how to do in there. That's all they know how to do in there is break down a woman. That's why people need to stop saying, Leah, you're free. I know I'm free, bitch. I know I'm free. Because if I weren't free, I wouldn't be sitting on YouTube. I wouldn't be sitting on Instagram exposing a very big global organization. I would not be doing up everything that I'm doing if I weren't free. Are you free? Are you free? You get, before you come and ask me if I'm free, baby. I know I'm free. That's why I'm doing up what I'm doing. Period, point blank. Yeah. Was in one of the first love churches whilst at university for about a year. The community was fun, but was never fully integrated as I was probably too choleric. Oh, you're going into temperaments. There's another thing that they do up with the church cults. And I'm glad that you weren't. What year did you go, babe? Another thing that they do up is they use these temperament things, because the cult leader has written a book called Model Marriage. And in that model marriage, it talks about Shepherd Dora Lincoln, and it talks about temperaments. And he talks about the choleric, phlegmatic, melancholic, and sanguine temperaments. And basically he's saying based off the temperament, it will depend on if you will get along, if you will be able, like, based off your personalities. So he brings in psychology. He brings in the psychology of a mystic, Carl Jung, to describe temperaments under the model. And I don't have a problem with mysticism. I'll be effing with it. I'm not trying to demonize it. But when you're a pastor standing up there and you're demonizing mysticism, you're calling people out for being witches. You're saying this is demonic, this, that, and the third. But then you're quoting Carl Jung's work. So now, when I start quoting Carl Jung's work and I start talking about shadow work, and the different psychological tools and practices that can help us to free ourselves from indoctrination and psychological manipulation, I'll be called out. But it's okay for Dag to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Another weird rule that they have with these marriages as well is like older women can't marry younger women unless you're Dag Heward Mills, because his wife is actually, I think, several years older than him, and other high-ranking pastors. But they put these really silly rules in there. People shouldn't have more than 3 kids. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I want you to know, if you're a favorite, the pastor will link you up with someone in the call. So these women are in there for D, most of them. Do you know what I mean? They're going to the meetings, they're doing up with it because they want to be married. Especially the women that come later on. They be desperate AF. And then you've got the pastors in there preaching this doctrine on, you know, a woman's flower of her youth is the 20s. So women be feeling like they're washed up if they're not married after 25. It's absolutely ludicrous. These times, you're still in the prime of your life. I'm 38, babe, looking better than ever. Looking the best I ever looked in my life, child. It's all about how you level up in the mind, body, and soul. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, we evolve, we don't age, we're like trees. You get me? So listen, I haven't looked this good since I was 17, child. Let's get to some of the comments. The pastors make people clean their homes. Yeah. Yeah. There's a cult called NGRM in the UK with Prophet Onyeka Power. He's 29 and his wife's 48. She's a pred. CC Opawa. And there was literally a member that was going, cleaning the house, cooking food, doing errands for them. People become slaves because they're gods and they're worshipped. So everyone's like they're slaves and they just do all these menial tasks. It's just absolutely pathetic because the pastors are pathetic. So this survivor on YouTube is saying that pastors make people clean their homes and at the end they don't pay after they tell you that you are working for God. That's in, and this is a survivor from South Africa. They preach about marriage every Sunday. They talk about marriage every day, girl. They talk about marriage every damn day. It's always about beloveds, beloveds, beloveds. So you could have a girl who's coming there. She has absolutely no interest in beloveds, child. She's securing herself, her career. Before you know it, this girl is going to turn into a dusty, pick-me-sha, desperate, friggin' internalized misogyny dog that is just barking every time a man speaks, child. That's all that they do up in there. That's their whole goal, child. How do they get people to marry each other? I've never known. Do they just say, God said you should marry this person? No, girl. They don't say God said. What they do is, I'll tell you what they did to my sister. Because they shepherdorial linked my sister, but we weren't having a bar of it because the guy was a neek. If you watch, hey babe, how you doing? How you doing in that cult still rotting up? So anyway, they tried to give my sister to this nerd, yeah. And basically how it happened was my pastor sent her a message. We were all in the Sunday service. Sent my sister a message saying, no, he sent a message to the guy saying, I have a gift for you, if my recollection serves me right. And this was on, I have a Father's Day gift for you, because it was a Father's Day service. And he started sending pictures of my sister to the guy. But he had asked my sister to send him pictures of herself, which he then sent on to the guy. And then basically he told my sister that this is who they had chosen for her. So they just choose someone for you, girl, and they tell you that's who you go marry. And you can't challenge the pastor. And when they give you a spouse, at this point, it's like testing your loyalty. Are you going to do what the pastor says? Because it's like, are you shallow? Are you worldly? Or are you going to take the advice of the pastor and marry who he's given to you? Okay, so it's very much control. They don't even say that the Lord said. Probably Onyeka does that because he's a false. He moves and operates in the office of a pastor and a prophet, and he's fake. So he has set someone like Prophet Onyeka. He says to people, he does these Friday deliverance services, and he'll be telling 17-year-olds that these 19-year-old guys are their husband, and that's not even consensual. And then what happens in NGRM is that the people start sleeping with each other in the church cult because they're all young. Do you get what I'm saying? They're all young in there. You know, there's hot blood, it's boiling. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they just end up sleeping with each other. Yeah, there's a lot of double standards in there, Chantal. A lot of double standards. And just to let you know, I'm on live on YouTube and I'm on live at Instagram at the same damn time. So it's nothing spooky in my church cult. Like, they weren't really that prophetic. They were really against the prophetic, like back in the day. It was so unalived. It still is. Everything that First Love does is unalived because it's just whatever Dag says. So you see, like, all their dance routines, all of their concerts, Dag directs and choreographs everything. So it's unalived, child. They tried to do a little New Year's spectacular the other day, and it flopped. It was an absolute flop, a worldwide flop. It was absolute content gold what they did there. I absolutely rinsed it dry. I absolutely finished them online. Just to let you know, in my cult, they thought, Dag Heward Mills thought it was appropriate for a girl to be in costume, where she was wearing a very tiny dress where we could see all her thighs, all her shape. She was twerking, because you know I love twerking. I think Dag was doing it as a angled at me, and the girl was wearing the cheapest synthetic blonde wig I'd ever seen known to man, and then she was wearing this silver dress with another dress underneath, and then she's doing this dance with the guy, and they did the rendition to Dag Heward Mills' Sheila tune. So Dag Heward Mills takes worldly beats and writes his own lyrics over them. So this is a cover of Thriller, and it's like, Sheila, strange woman. Oh, let's put it on. Why not? We might as well, innit? Sheila Ida. But not for too long. Not for too long. Because if I put it on for too long, my eardrums are going to burst, child. Because Ida has the worst voice I've ever heard in my life. And we are taught to worship this woman. So they did a little rendition to Sheila. She was wearing a silver costume. Then the guy rips off the silver costume to reveal this very tiny costume that she's wearing underneath. She starts to undress the guy, and then she starts to do a display of absolute ratchetness. Like, I just want to let the UD know, especially if you come across my video, baby, I do things with class and taste. That's why right now you see me laying in my bed looking fabulous. That was cheap. I don't do cheap. It was cheap and tacky. That's what it was. It was absolute human fecal matter, and it was a mess. And I took that content and I absolutely destroyed them online. Because why are you doing that up? It's supposed to be a church concert. Why have you got a gal and she's ripping off her clothes in front of everybody? And that girl's married. I think the two that were doing the dance are married, you know. That woman's married to a doctor. It's absolutely disgusting. What a display of blasphemy on God's altar. Absolute blasphemy. And I'm not even a Christian. I haven't gone to church for years, yeah. And I can tell you that that's wrong. And don't ever get it twisted. I say I'm not a Christian because I don't associate myself with human fecal matter. But one thing I will tell you is I believe in Yeshua as my Lord and Savior. Ain't nobody going to take that away from me. And what I'm here to do is teach people about this spirituality that you can have with Christ. You don't need to be going to these high control environments and going to their prayers and fellowship and all the rubbish that they talk about. Listen, we live in a virtual reality since the pandemic, baby. Do you know what I mean? It's as good as being with someone right in front of you. We don't need these MFers. We have created our own communities online, and this is what we're doing up. Yeah, this is what we're doing up. All right, I'm going to go to some of the Instagram comments, YouTubers. Only DHM supposedly prophesies, no one else. Yes. So before that, we had one church prophet, which was Kakra Baden, and Kakra Baden is Dag Heward Mills' brother-in-law. So Kakra Baden is Lady Reverend Adelaide's brother. And the Badens are high up in the echelons. You know, you've got Emmanuel Baden that does up. He's a Baden, and he's extremely cantankerous and rude. Do you know what I mean? Emmanuel Baden is so entitled that it was... Thanks, Emmanuel Baden, because he was actually the one that opened my eyes to start to see that there was something wrong here, because my man was walking around like he was a gangster, like a mafia, like he ran the gaff. And I said, wait, hold on, something's wrong here. Because they indoctrinate you to see, like, you know, affiliations with people. It's like, we'll know you by the people that you move with. So I'm thinking, why is Emmanuel Baden acting like this? This is Dag's nephew. He's so close to Dag. And I started to think, you know, I started to come out of a cognitive dissonance state. That's because of how cantankerous Emmanuel Baden is. That man is, he's just effed up in the head. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a second gen cult member. Do you get what I'm saying to you lot? Like, his auntie is Lady Adelaide Heward Mills. His uncle is Dag Heward Mills. All his nieces, all his cousins are the Heward Mills. Like, that man feels like he is unstoppable. He feels like a god. And you see men like that who would be absolutely nothing outside of the cult, ain't got nothing going for them. Not looks wise, not intelligence wise, not personality wise, just nothing going for them. There are a bag of nerds in there. So their whole identity, can you not hear it? Oh God, Adelaide's voice is like it's like a cat. It's like a cat putting a cat on the board, like screeching. The vibration of the music makes me feel sick. I'm gonna have to put something else on, guys, just to get the vibes up. So again, we've got Kakra Baden, that was the official prophet. Yeah. And that guy's crazy. That guy's crazy as hell, child. That man is, I don't even have no words for him. He's very, very, that man is severely indoctrinated, child. That's all it is. It's just people that are severely indoctrinated in there, mate. Yeah. So there was one prophet then. I don't know what happened. I think Dag was a bit jealous of Kakra because everyone used to look at him like, oh, the church prophet. So one day Dag got up one morning and said that he's a prophet. Just from nowhere. Because he moved into this like evangelist office where he was like, he didn't want to go by bishop anymore. Because it first of all, it started off with us calling him bishop. When I first started, it was Bishop Dag, just we used to call him bishop. Then all of a sudden he said that he's doing up evangelist. And he could, because he was going to leave like the church to whoever, I can't even remember who it was. But he was going to focus on the evangelism. Do you get it? Like him going out there and doing his crusades and whatever. And then from nowhere, my man woke up one day and said that he's doing up prophet. And we all had to call him prophet. We had to address him as prophet. And I'm not going to lie, guys, when he did this, alarm bells started ringing in my ears. Because I was like, it talks about, you know, the false prophets and stuff. And he introduced this quite late on. I think it was like, was it 2012, 13? With First Love. So First Love, they only know Bishop Dag as prophet and daddy. They don't know him as bishop. Because that's an old school thing. And that's why he had to start discarding the older members. Do you understand? Because we started to clock the contradictions. We started to clock the discrepancies in the absolute BS and human fecal matter carcass that he was preaching in the church cult. Let's go to some more comments if there's any more here. Oh, hey, Cass. No, I'm on I was on TikTok earlier, but I'm on YouTube and Instagram at the moment because I'm trying to even out my time so that I can have a wider reach. So I've been getting a lot of interest on YouTube and one of my videos has gone a bit viral. So I want to just give a bit more time to the other platforms as I'm growing it in 2025, because that's what the idea is, for me to grow these platforms and be present, not just a core focus on TikTok. There you go. So then, yeah, Dad got up one day and that was when it started getting really dangerous. In UD, so this is a YouTuber. In UD, yeah, I'm streaming at the same damn time, girl. At the same damn time, like a boss in the culture. Like a real boss. In UD, if you're not married, you look weird. They say if you're a shepherd and you can't tithe, you're no more a leader. Love you too, girl. So if you're not married, or if you don't, and do you know what I want to add to that as well, Queen? If you don't marry the man that they want you to marry. Yeah. And if you're not a shepherd, if you're a shepherd and you don't tithe, then you're not a leader. What? Okay, you know what? Let's get into that. Can I pin this comment? All right. Ciao. Let's get into that. So they do a spiritual practice and ritual called Titus and Crete. My queen, my South African queen, do you not do Titus in South Africa? I'm sure you do, because it's everywhere, all over the world. It's all the same, yeah. And basically, this Titus and Crete is a humiliation and punishment ritual that they do. And I've got receipts that I went to say, oh, you didn't go to the Titus and Crete. No, Pastor, bitch, I was there for 18 years. There was a lot of rules that were broken for me, child. I was in a lot of meetings I weren't supposed to be in. I was in a lot of things I weren't supposed to be, because they trusted me, child. Yeah, I was a spiritual daughter of the house. You lot are getting told you're spiritual daughters of the house. You were never a spiritual daughter of the house. Not a damn day in your life, child. Most of them gal, they're in there for the D. They're in there to get their backs blown out. Gal, them in the church cult were getting their backs blown out in the back of their car before they were going to lead praise and worship, child. That was not my story. I was in there for Jesus Christ. There was no man them in there that I was attracted to. It was just first gen Dusties from Ghana. And there's kings from Ghana. Do you know what I mean? I love my Ghanaian kings. But in the church cult, it was just a bag of dusty Ghanaian men. That's all it was. Do you know what I mean? Like their swag was off. Do you know what I mean? Like they didn't know how to dress. They didn't have no like chat. They didn't know how to like chat a woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it was just unalived. So I was definitely, the times that I was doing up church, I definitely weren't in there for no D chat. Because there was no, it wasn't like a youth church. There weren't young people. I was actually making a sacrifice being in that church cult when I did. I could have gone to KICC. It was popping. Or Hillsong, if I wanted to really make it for myself as a singer, a Christian artist, get some good D, do whatever. I could have done that. I could have capitalized. I could have monopolized on Christendom because that's what everyone else bloody well does. But I was in there like an idiot, really serving God when everyone was out for themselves, including Dag Heward Mills. Yeah? So anyway, they do this Titus and Crete, yeah? And basically high-ranking members fly in. They get them to fly in from like all over the world. And I need you to be thinking X Factor, The Apprentice, you know, like high pressure, them kind of shows. So you come in and you have to wear suits. So the ladies have to be in, we have to be in black and white suits. The ladies have to wear pencil skirts to their knee, blazer, white shirt. Men have to wear black suits with black ties, white shirt. Yeah, it's like so formal. There's like a uniform that goes with it. You come in, there's like a board table, it's like a boardroom style, and there's like there's a table, and there'll be like 4 pastors on there, like high ranking. So there'll be like bishops or reverend ministers, like pastors that are really respected in the cult, and then there'll be a red hot chair seat, yeah, where people will sit in the red chair and they will get ridiculed and broken down and berated and quizzed and interrogated. It's interrogated about Dag's doctrine. Okay, so basically you come in now, and guys, we would be revising, you know, like how it is for uni, like when you got a big test. That's how people would be writing notes in their books. They would have notebooks written with memorizing scriptures, memorizing Dag's books, because they ask you questions about Dag's books on there, so you get like interrogated and quizzed. And in these Titus and Crete rituals, people get sacked, they lose their promotion, they get stripped of pastors' titles if they don't perform, because it's like a performance measuring humiliation, berating, interrogation practice that they do up in there. So they sit you in the red hot seat, and what I want to say is it's not the same for everyone. Like, I didn't get rebuked. I'll tell you what happened to me when it was my turn. But like there was a lot of other people who just got shamed, broken down. So you'll sit in the red seat, and then they bring up all of your statistics on the screen. So it will have your picture, it will have your name, it will have your date of birth, it will have your your church details, so like your tithe number, and then they bring up like you know, like graphs, and they'll be like, you missed your tithe in March. Why didn't you pay your tithe in March? What was the reason? And you'll have to explain to them like why you didn't pay your tithe in March, what was going on, this, that, and the third. So because we know we're going to have these Titus and Cretes, like people can't miss paying their tithes. So people will go hungry paying their tithe. Like, that's how stupid it is. Yeah. Then they bring up all your targets and all your statistics. So like how many people you invited, because they take data. So they do up a lot of like Google like spreadsheets, and you got to submit like how many people you're bringing to church daily. Do you understand? Not daily, sorry. How many people you're bringing to the service, how many people you booked to an event. So what they do at these Titus and Cretes is they bring up all of your targets for like, say like, I don't know, say like the Titus and Crete was 6 months into the year. It will be 6 months of what you've done. And everybody, all the leaders will be sitting there and watching it. Then they'll ask you, we have must know scriptures. It's a book. And in there, those are the scriptures that Dag thinks that we must know. So when you meet a first lover, you'll think, oh my gosh, they're so impressive. They know so much scriptures. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. They know must know scriptures. You ask them anything outside of them must know scriptures, they're a fish out of water. They ain't got a clue. They're limited to the false doctrine of Dag. So once you take them out of the parameters of that, they know absolutely nothing. Like even when they quote scriptures, it's out of context. They don't have a basic understanding of it. It's just absolute human fecal matter. So they talk absolute rubbish in there. You'll notice that they're just robots. They're just robots in there, just talking absolute human fecal matter. That's all it's about, yeah? So don't be like, one of the things that they're very good at doing in First Love is they're good at being like these scholars, these ambassadors, these stewards. One thing that they teach us how to do and they train us is to be like these poster pin-up people for the cult, because they teach you about loyalty and reputation and how important it is for the church cult. That's why I knew that once I started speaking out, Dag would start having a princess panic attack, because Dag is very big on reputation, people seeing him as like a god. And he's, you know, this man stepped on so many necks. He's done so much. Do you know what I mean? To get to where he is today. That has not been done as from the Spirit of God. That man sold his soul to the devil a long time. Because they just start worshipping money. And guys, start to get any questions that you have on your mind ready. because this is just a quick live for me to come on, get some content on both platforms. So if you have, oh, thanks for the follow, girl. If you have any questions or anything that you want me to say, or especially on YouTube as well, if there's anything that you want me to speak your truth, please put your comments up. So then we get quizzed and interrogated on Dag's books, and they'll be like, oh, give me a book in the loyalty series. Give me 3 books that are part of the loyalty series, because Dag writes these books. He has Macarius, like a library, 66 books. He tries to recreate his own Bible, basically. Yeah. So what he's doing up with that is that he's replacing the Bible with the Macarius, and we see that being done in the fact that only pastors can only preach from Dag Heward Mill's books. They can't preach outside of his books. They can't go into church one morning and say, the Lord gave me a dream. Oh, this is so ghetto. But Minakia, I'm sick, guys. I'm sitting here struggling to stay up, you know. If you know how unwell I am, but as soon as I've got a little bit better, where I can, because I live with a chronic illness, where I can come on and expose this cult, I'll be doing it to the day I unalive, and that's on God. So what was I saying? Yeah, and you will have to know it. If you don't say, like, if you don't know it, they'll be like, why don't you know it? The loyalty and disloyalty is the basic fundamental of the faith. You know, pastors are thrown chairs, thrown tables. You have to switch off your phone when you're coming as well. There's no phones, there's no recordings. I don't know how at the time we didn't think this was weird, but again, the culture of the cult is very weird, and they're very big on loyalty and disloyalty. So they indoctrinate you a lot to think that you're being loyal and submissive and humble to the pastor. Yes, 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 D. Olu. It is Mormonism. That's basically what it is. And I'm really glad that you said that, because every time I talk about the books, I liken it to Mormonism, and I was looking like a Mormon. If I weren't using both my phones, I would have shown you pictures of me before and after. I need to figure out how to use YouTube Studio, because I was in the cult for 18 years. So my material, my content is very basic. That's why I like using TikTok, because it's really easy to edit the content and make it really creative. I don't really know how to use anything outside of TikTok. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm catching up with technology. Like it's one step away from creating a book called The Book of Dag. Ooh! I feel like calling you Dr. Olu. I'm calling that one Dr. Olu on YouTube. Dr. Olu, are you a survivor? Yeah, the survivors and the supporters are coming out of the woodwork. Guys, I've seen grown men cry in front of their wives in these Titus and Crete. Me personally, if I was with a man that was crying like that, I would have lost all respect from him from that day, and I wouldn't have even wanted him to touch me, and he wouldn't have been able to turn me on again after that day. And do you see that men are emasculated? I was leaders of men, like talking down to them. And again, like, I'm not saying that a woman can't be a leader. I just don't think it works in that setting, because because on one hand, it's so misogynistic and patriarchal, but then you're going to put a woman. Anyway, it's a sin for a female bishop for there to be a female bishop. It's haram. Oh, you're deep, Femi. Ah! Hey, babe. Welcome. Welcome, my love. So we got Dr. Olu in the cup. Hey, Spice. Hey, everybody on Insta. Oh, God. All right, I'm going to quickly tell you about this story that happened in Titus. So I'm just going to say she was a female pastor. I'm not going to mention her name, because I actually feel so sorry for this girl to this day that I'm not going to mention her name here. But let's say her name was LP Cat. So LP Cat's in this particular Titus. Now, she was like a shepherd for, I think they were called the Chosen Generation. She was like a shepherd or a pastor of it. I can't remember. It was a very short-lived stunt of her pastoring the youth there. But anyway, she was the main pastor there. Hey, girl. So now, so imagine all those young people, they're under her. So Bishop Richard was doing the Titus this year. It was absolutely terrible. That man is so evil. You lot. You see Bishop Richard IE, yeah? Bishop Richard IE of First Love Church is the most evil, wicked man I've ever met in my life. When I tell you, I'm a survivor of CCE, that's child criminal exploitation, yeah? I have slept with the enemy. Do you understand what do you know that saying, sleeping with the enemy? I was dating guys that were unaliving people as a hobby. Like, just, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, just, that's what they were doing in these streets. Yeah. And I would look face to face with that level of darkness, like someone who's taken the lives of other people. Yeah. And when I tell you, never have I seen or encountered more evil and wicked than Bishop Richard I of First Love Church. And I don't think I ever will. And this man is a pastor of young people. Absolutely crazy. That man has broken down so many young people, psychologically damaged them. Do you know what he said to some survivors who had dedicated their life to help him set up First Love, and then when they started looking old and were no more useful to him, he discarded them, and he said to them that you're damaged goods. And you know, these survivors have left. They haven't been in the church cult for years and years and years. This survivor that gave me her account, she told me it took her 9 years to leave the cult. And she said that comment from Bishop Richard, it still plays on her mind today. Like, all of the things, like the comments of breaking her down and beating her down, is still in her psyche. The girl is still deconstructing it, and she's married with kids now. Can you imagine? Years later. Years later. So anyway, let me get back to Titus. So Richard is in there doing up interrogation now. He gets to the young people. He starts to ask them questions. It was really simple questions. Like, I don't know, like Romans 8:28, like scriptures, like stuff about Dag. They didn't know nothing. When I tell you Richard laid into them, he went to the Pastor Cat. Why don't they know anything? They don't look at what you have done, everything that has been poured into you, and this is what happens. You are a failure. You are nothing. He started shouting at her, breaking her down, ripping her apart, shredding her to pieces. No, Bishop Richard, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bishop Richard. I never meant to. I'm gonna do better, Bishop. Hyperventilating, snot coming out of her eyes, crying, screaming. This girl was just getting interrogated and humiliated in front of the whole church cult. Richard laid into her. He ripped into her. And I got a feeling that girl was sleeping with the pastor. One of the pastors. So I think Richard projects a lot on her. Like Richard has a HETRED for women. That it's like he's got a real issue with women, and he doesn't love his wife, and it shows in her appearance and the way she carries herself. Because there's no way that my husband could be walking around. Richard always looks good. He's always well put together. Face is shining, bar leather shining. You know, he's a well kept man, but his wife not so much so. It's given, you know, I've rolled out of bed and I've just decided to turn up, and is anyone home? Is anyone there? No one's home. Do you get what I'm saying? It's very much given that. Yeah, so I've seen grown men cry. They flip tables, they throw chairs. Bishop Richard has thrown the mic. Do you know what I mean? On the hard marble floor, Jow. Guys, no word of a lie to you. These young people, because Titus is for like 3 days. So we go through this interrogation process for 3 days straight. They don't give you no food, nothing. 3 days straight, yeah. You're there from 9 to 5. It's like a job. It's a whole day's work, and you have to take the time off work to come. And they don't care how you do it. You just got to find a way. And if people come late, they will still rebuke them, even if they've told them that they're going to come late from before. Guys, no word of a lie to you, yeah. When these young people went home, they stayed up all night. They didn't sleep. They were in sleep deprived states. They stayed up all night studying Dag and this pastor in church, all straight after, studying Dag's doctrine, studying the scriptures, so that they could get it right the next day. Because that's what it's like. You come in, you get rebuked, you have to get it right the next day. That's what Bishop Richard is like. That's the level of control that they have over people. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And the young people that were under that woman, that were there in Titus and Crete, most of them are still in the church cult to this day. They're just in there looking washed up and wasted. And when I look at these young people, they're so young. They're so young. They're younger than me, but yet they're looking older in the face. Because the ministry wears you out. It ages you. And it just drains you. So a lot of the health issues that I have, these are the health issues that like old people have, like the elderly. Like whenever I get, like, you know, the other day I got admitted onto the ward. I spent 3 days in hospital fighting for my life in crisis, yeah. You see, on the ward, it was just all elderly people. I never get put on a ward where there's like, you know, like just, I don't want to say normal, but people of different age ranges. I'm straight to these, you know, because you know, it's endocrinology, it's cardiology, it's heart, it's the heart, it's the, do you understand? It's all, it's like, it's these conditions that elderly people get, man, when they're at the end of life, child. This is the kind of chronic illness that I'm living with. I'm living with chronic illnesses that elderly people get towards the end of life. Because they rinse you out, it ages your body, it ages your internal organs. That, because we know, is there any science around that? How, because there must be in it around. I need to look into that. How the organs age over time. Do you understand? Just like the body decays, just like the body is, you know, unaliving every day as we're getting older and older. Do you get? There must be something to do with the organs. So I feel like this because you have to remember the reason why that happens is because elderly people, it's like over time their body just, you know, starts to they can't do what they used to do because the body is aging, you know, the mind, like this, that, and the third. But when you're in the cult, it speeds that process up. It speeds it up to the point where it's like you're on the outside, you're like 18, or you're like, no, let me say 25, 23, but your organs are more of a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old. What do you mean, what year? What do you mean, what year? What does that mean? I don't even have any mods on YouTube, but it's okay anyway. I'm not here because I'm not even, I don't even need to pay attention to the comments if I don't have to, child. Because I'm streaming from Instagram and YouTube at the same damn time because I'm a boss in the car. Yeah. So the next day, yeah, guys, no words of a lie to you. They came back standing straight, tall, ready to answer the question. Bishop Richard came back then. They got every single question right. And they looked tired, drained out, like just, guys, you could tell that they had all been up. They had all been up the whole night. Do you get what I'm saying? Just like revising. Are you not hearing what I'm saying to you? We were revising the cult leader's books, his doctrine. Do you know they would even ask you questions like, what year did the church start? And then what, like they would ask you questions about the cult as well. And then they could ask you a scripture from anywhere in the Bible. I don't think people understand how much pressure this is. And they must know it's a lot of scriptures. There's hundreds of scriptures in there that you've got to learn, child. So they will ask you scriptures from the must know. And the basis on which they say that they're doing this is they say that it's for you to become a strong Christian. Isn't this just, you just have no words. How I could be getting manipulated and gaslit. Every single time they were preaching, I was getting gaslit into thinking that these misogynistic, ageist, sexist rhetoric and ideologies that this man was preaching was from God and to make me a strong Christian. So all of this abuse in the name of we're making you a strong Christian. So that's why one thing that these first lovers can do is fake it till they make it, child. They're very fake. They're very good at, you know, it's so fake when you go in there, everyone's world's falling apart. A lot of them have jump trains to get there in the morning because they've been giving all their money to Bishop Richard, i.e. giving their student loan. I hear Dag's coming on the 26th of January. Do you know what? I just really hope that they can't recruit people, and I hope a lot of people don't go because, you know, all they care about in there is blood clot attendance. That's all they care about. All right. So there's a survivor on Instagram that says, I remember being asked if I liked anyone in the church. The biggest put off is that you have to marry someone in the cult. You are marrying the cult itself. Sorry, because she said the biggest put off. Oh God, don't unalive me. First lovers. The men in there are so feminine. It's a joke. And the thing is, you know what they do? Even if a man comes in there masculine, he could have been exposed to like gangs and gang culture. But you know, as soon as when they come in there, they were a GM, they were a guy. You weren't no GM, child. You were a victim. Okay? You were a victim of child criminal exploitation. We can't class you as a gang member, child, when you were under 18, you know them ones, yeah? So a lot of the men, even if they were very masculine, by the time Dag Heward Mills is finished with them, they're going to become just like him. And that is a passenger princess, because that is feminine. The men are emasculated, and they are broken down in there as well. The men are broken down in there to be submissive. They are. And the biggest type of punishment that they'll do up if the pastor gets on the wrong side of them is they'll put them under a woman. Or Dag will put them in a branch that's unalived, like Apache. They've tried to do everything. It's like there's a curse on London Apache. Dag loves to go around cursing everyone, but it's like there's a curse on the church cult. It doesn't grow past a certain point. It's stagnant. They can never bust. They can never make it happen. It's like someone's put some mad curse on London Apache. It's got some weird cold vibe. Like you go in there and it's just cold. Like you go around to the J church. It's such a cold vibe. But then because I was there for so long, I started seeing it as home. Oh, Tia, I wish you were on TikTok so I could block you. What you should be asking is if they're safe. That's what you should be asking about. Am I safe? Do they know that I'm watching TikTok video? You need to go. What you should be doing is asking if they're safe in this bitch. Yeah. Don't be asking me if I'm safe. I'm good, baby. I'm good. I'm good. That's all you need to know. Yeah. You think if anything ever happened to me, baby, listen, all you need to know is I'm good outside in these streets. Yeah. That's all you need to know. So, yeah. So they want you to marry Dusties in there, very feminine, emasculated people. Oh, thanks. Is someone? Oh, the message was deleted by Olivia. It looks like I've got a mod on here. Thanks, girl. Just can't be dealing with these trolls because they know they're gonna get blocked if they talk in a certain way. They're very evil, cunning, and conniving, just like Dag, because they are the spawn of Dag. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they got his mindset. You get me? They think and talk and act just like Dag. So that's why they do that up. Well, guys, I'm going to start to go. It's been an absolutely amazing live. Does anybody have any final questions? Come on, I'm here now. Is there anything? And I also don't want my battery to unalive on here. Is there anything that YouTube want to ask me? Is there anything that Insta people then want to ask me before I go? I want to let you know I'm going to be on TikTok live tonight. I'm going to be on TikTok live today, later on. I might even be on TikTok. If you're not following me on TikTok, please follow me on TikTok, because TikTok is so quick. I could just put it on, you know, it just feels very up close and personal. The vibe is absolutely unmatched on there. So I go on TikTok a lot more. I'm really a TikToker. That's really what I am. Do you know what I mean? So if you're not following me on TikTok, please do, especially if you're a survivor and, you know, you're kind of relying on the lives, you know what I mean, to help you to validate your experience, not being codependent, because we're not doing up that, but it validates your experiences and it helps you to just keep sane. Then please follow Leah Lauder 7 on TikTok, and that's the main account that I go from there, and all the information is on there. So on YouTube, please subscribe, you know, like, share, download, you know, do everything that you got to do on there to make, you know, the videos and the content to help push it out and to create awareness. I want to say I love you guys very much. Thanks for all your support on YouTube. I appreciate you. I've seen you commenting. I've seen you coming in and fighting for me on my behalf against these very abusive misogynists and patriarchs. So I absolutely love y'all. I'm going to be doing a lot more content on YouTube. At the moment, you may not see as much content being pushed out from me, guys, because I'm taking 3 months to prepare for the year, what we're going to look to achieve, what our vision is, what our goals are for the year as a collective, and under the Hold the Hope CIC that I've set up and created, led by the survivors for the survivors. So yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot more from me YouTube this year, a lot more content. I am really wanting to do a lot more on here. So thank you very much, guys, and I will be on very, very soon. Bye.